All right, guys, welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. And now we're jumping into our health tips. Our set is back. Shout out to my entire crew. They've been doing such a great job today. I have Rose, Helen, Shen, Dan, Dede, Tori, and the entire crew, everybody downstairs as well. I do appreciate you guys for the great work. And right now, though, let's talk about health tips. Specifically, we're going to be touching on a pescatarian diet. And many of you might not be familiar with that term. And so I want my guest here to just familiarize us with what it is we're going to be discussing. Here is Lillian Bonareri and Felix Okoth, both of whom are clinical nutritionists. Karibuni sana to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so Lillian, we can begin with you. What do we mean by a pescatarian diet?
Well, thank you so much. Well, a pescatarian diet, I will basically define it as you can define it as someone who doesn't take meat but can take fish or seafoods. And it can also a term that can be defined as we can take it like someone can adhere to choose to be to practice a pescatarian diet, or it can be a religion practice whereby it's most knownly by the Catholic religion. And a certain time we are normally when it gets to the Lenten season, we are told to fast at some point, not take red meat, but we only take the vegetables.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think today we're going to focus in on the health perspectives of it, since this is our health segment. Is it a healthy diet, Felix?
Pescatarian diet is healthy, all we can say. Normally, in early 90s, actually the word pesce, like my colleague has said, pescatarian, it's an Italian word meaning fish. So we have pesce and then we have vegetarian, so pescatarian. So pesce is Italian, but now these are vegetarians who don't only do vegetables and vegetarian food as their sole diet, but they incorporate either fish or they incorporate milk, and some of them also incorporate eggs. So generally, with the previous vegetarian diets is whereby most people lack much of the nutrients which are normally and specifically found in animal food. And most of these vitamins are such as iron, which is not that much in vegetables, even though most of the plant proteins have iron, but not of that good source that is enabled to be easily absorbed and benefit the iron requirement. There are also vitamins like B12, B6, omega-3 fatty acids, which are not normally got in plant protein or vegetables. But when you incorporate like fish, you incorporate like egg, you incorporate like milk, then this person gets these nutrients. And the health benefit of this pescatarian diet, unlike the normal diet that we take, is that it doesn't have much of the excess energy that people eat from the junk food or from the animal protein. And what makes it so unique and better is that a fish is good in omega-3 fatty acids, the B12, which are good for your nerves, which are good for your brain, which is good for your hormones and general immunity.
But not all fish are created equal too.
Sure. Not all fish. And I always say it depends where you get your fish. And actually, it's like every source of food, it depends your source. Because if you want to go get a sea fish, which is from a polluted water with mercury, with metal and chemicals, at the end of the day, this food will harm you. You get it? So it depends where the fish is, and the freshwater fish will be much better. The freshwater fish. And the other health benefit is that, you see, most of the animal protein, let's say beef and all the rest, the red meat, and why we say red meat is bad is because of the fat in it. It has a lot of fat, which will lead to too much cholesterol accumulation in the body that can affect your blood flow, because they will clog in the arteries in your veins. So they hinder the normal blood circulation, which will make the heart pump extra harder and lead you to hypertension. But fish doesn't have much of the fat. And then red meat also have a waste called purines. Now the purines accumulate in the body as uric acid.
Okay.
Which can lead to arthritis and all the rest, which is not in the pescatarian.
Well, I guess also in terms of looking at the healthiness of this diet, it's really also about the type of fish that is consumed, right? And omega-3, for example, a lot of us are in search of this omega-3. We hear about how it's such a super nutrient, but it's seemingly a bit harder to find unless you're eating fish like, say, salmon, because the one that is available to us commonly here is tilapia, but I understand tilapia actually does not really have omega-3 that we are seeking for.
Yeah.
Lillian.
Well, to me, I will call it, when we want to get the omega-3, we can get it from the fish, like you said, from the tuna, the
Salmon.
orangey, or it's called the orange raffy fish,
Okay.
the salmon. So one can find them from there.
Okay.
Other than that, those fish we normally, like my colleague said, when you get it from a polluted the water, that can, most of them normally contain the mercury.
Right.
And mercury is a very rough metal to the health body.
Okay.
So it might cause the health issues. Mostly it's not advisable for young kids, pregnant mothers, or you're aspiring to get pregnant in one year. So
Okay.
we not really advise someone to take the fish that you know it's from a polluted
It's I mean,
environment.
hopefully you're not
Yes.
taking it, period. But if you don't know, I guess it would be advisable just to reduce your fish intake.
Yes.
If you fall in any one of
Yes.
those categories.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And as you've said, then, you know, mercury in seafood can really add up quickly, especially for one who's a pescatarian. Then I guess it raises all sorts of different concerns about how safe are they with that sort of diet.
I always say that the most important thing is that it really doesn't matter. Actually, all our food nowadays have chemicals. But all I say, the body has a natural mechanism of detoxifying itself and removing the unwanted materials. But it depends how much do you put in. So everything, small, frequent feeding of anything that is good is also okay. But too much, even if it's good, it's not good. Okay. So I always tell people, things like fish, if you want to take fish, you can do fish like 3 or 4 times a week is okay. The other times, incorporate other food, plant origins like beans, like lentils,
Okay.
any other, so that you don't do too much of whatever the body doesn't want.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so even if one is a pescatarian and you're eating as best, you know, quality of fish as you can find, it's still important to try and balance the other bits of your
Yes.
diet, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
Fish is a protein, I guess, but you would probably need to supplement it with the other
With the
forms.
others.
Okay. And so the bulk of the diet really does stay the same.
Well, the diet might really change, let's say, because you're actually going to include the fruits inside. So, like I did my study before, I checked, we have 3 types of pescatarians.
Okay.
We categorize them into vegetarians.
Okay.
Yes, we have the lacto-vegetarians, the ovo-vegetarians, and the lacto-ovo-vegetarians.
What does that mean?
So the lacto-ovo-vegetarian, you can relate it like someone, if I say like you, Joyce, you're a lacto-tolerant person to milk. So a lacto-vegetarian, that is a pescatarian person, he excludes meat, poultry, he doesn't take totally anything to do with meat, or
Okay.
even their products.
Okay.
And an ovo-vegetarian, he excludes meat and poultry but takes eggs.
Okay.
And a lacto-ovo-vegetarian, he or she excludes the meat, the poultry, but can take the eggs and the dairy products.
milk,
That
okay.
is yogurt, cheese inside. So they're more of, it can be, like I said earlier, it can be of a person who is a vegetarian. Because if we checked really who is a pescatarian, like you said earlier, the fish, it's a word from the fish and the vegetables.
Okay.
So strictly, if you are a lacto-vegetarian, you won't totally do the fish. You'll just do the vegetables.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for coming onto the show today and just enlightening us a bit about a pescatarian diet. And I wonder how many of you would give it a try. 22999. Are you guys pescatarians in any way?
No.
You've quickly said no. And you?
Not really.
Not really. Would you try it?
It's not offensive because it's just a balanced diet. You know, a good diet is that gives you everything the body needs. So
But
long
well, jaribu.
no, but sijajaribu. The only thing is for me to be a pescatarian, then I just omit meat. And
Okay. No, that's that's the question. Would you omit meat?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Sawa. And you?
Oh, well, for me, it will depend if you have health issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if I'm actually not to take meat, then I'll totally avoid meat.
All right then. I'd love to know if you guys would be a pescatarian. 22999. I do like fish, but I don't know. I also like chicken, so I don't know if I just never eat chicken again. So